Welcome to this episode of the Metal Verbalizers podcast. I'm Johan Verbalizer, and today I have a new great band to recommend, Bastard Priest. Bastard Priest is a death metal band from Sweden that was started around 2005. I would personally describe Bastard Priest's sound as being old school death metal that is very influenced by punk. As a very big fan of both punk and death metal myself, this is a combination that I'm personally all for. One of the great things about this kind of punk death metal mix is that I guess you could say that you kind of get the brutality and aggression from death metal, as well as the attitude and rawness from punk. There are many death metal bands that are inspired and influenced by punk bands, of course, but I have a hard time really coming up with that many names that do it as clearly as Bastard Priest is doing it. If you ask me, I think that this is a combination that is working really well. And I think that Bastard Priest is showing that very well through their music. It's kind of like if you're even thinking about if this combination works, then definitely listen to Bastard Priest, because they can confirm that it does. A lot of death metal bands nowadays, I think, tend to be either purely influenced by death metal, influenced a lot of black metal, or influenced a lot of thrash metal. But I think Bastard Priest, rather being more influenced by punk, not only gives them an awesome sound, but I also believe that it also gives them kind of an advantage, I think. I believe that it makes them kind of more original, if you know what I mean. Some of Bastard Priest's biggest influences includes bands such as Death, Discharge, and Autopsy. In my opinion, I think they can hear all these influences very clearly in the music of Bastard Priest. In addition to these bands, big fans of Bastard Priest, such as myself, tend to also really like bands such as Entombed, Dismember, Carnage, Nihilist, Grave, etc. I also believe that Bastard Priest is definitely one of the bands who are really kind of keeping that old school death metal sound and spirit alive with their music. When talking about Swedish death metal and about what bands are kind of keeping it alive, I think that Bastard Priest is one of the first names actually that comes up for me. Since Bastard Priest started, the band has released a few releases. Maybe some could say that Bastard Priest might not have that many releases, but the releases are really great. I personally will always prefer quality over quantity any day of the week, and Bastard Priest definitely does not disappoint here. The band released one demo in 2008 called Merciless Insane Death, a full-length in 2010 called Under the Hammer of Destruction, another full-length in 2011 called Ghouls of the Endless Night, which I believe was my introduction to the band, by the way, and also an EP in 2020 called Vengeance of the Damned. Considering the name of the band, I'm feeling pretty certain that you will not be very surprised by the subjects that Bastard Priest is writing lyrics about. The lyrics tend to revolve around blasphemy and death. I mean, with a name like Bastard Priest, writing lyrics like that feels kind of a given, if you know what I mean. Speaking of the name of this band, there's a little bit of uncertainty regarding the exact origin of the name, or why the name was chosen at some point. when asked about it, the band didn't really seem to recall exactly, but they thought that it is pretty likely that it is simply started as some bad or silly joke that was taken too far. They also added that that's usually how it is. So I guess that's all I can really say about the origin, because that was what I was told by the band. But I mean, personally, I really like the name. I mean, like, I think that was definitely one of the things that really like caught my attention. The name, like Bastard Priest, just like how it looked and just how it sounded, like Bastard Priest, and like with the logo and everything, it just immediately got my attention. Like it's a very I don't know what like word you would use, but I guess you could say like it's a very bold name to have for a band, and I really like that. Stuff like that usually kind of gets my attention, which I think it makes a lot of sense to have a name like that, because it's a way to kind of like get people's attention, and then, you know, when you hear the music, like it's kind of like the name was one of the things that made me come to Bastard Priest, and the music made me stay. When it comes to the future of Bastard Priest, they do not seem to have any plans to slow down, because they are currently hard at work making new music. They have explained that they're working very hard with the new songs and are expressing a very hopeful wish to be able to release this music very soon. Exactly how long soon is up to debate, of course, but as far as I understand, releasing this music seems to be the band's main priority right now. Unfortunately, I can't tell you any release dates or anything like that, because I simply don't know. And I'm not sure if even the band knows at this point, to be honest. But I don't know. To me, it sounds like it could be very soon. If not this year, in 2023, then probably in 2024. This is, however, only speculation from my part. Could be this year, could be next year. Again, speculation from my part. But considering it seems like a main priority for the band, I find it pretty likely. Just overall, it sounded like it could be very close. So I guess we'll have to see. I would, however, strongly encourage you to check out Bastard Priest's music, and keep an eye open for the band's new upcoming music. Having said that, I believe this is a great way to end the episode. We at Verbalizers really appreciate that you've been listening to this episode until the end. If you enjoyed this episode, then it would be great if you'd like to give us a follow and help us spread the word. This way you can support both us as a podcast, but also the bands that we are verbalizing. We will be back soon with more verbalizing.